we'll join you out on the open road here this evening. The iron cart has been pulled off the side of the road. They've set up camp, and we're awaiting to see what our anti-heroes are going to do in a plan to escape. Alright, let's peel back the windows and see what we find. Apparently we found the Wheel of Loot. There we go. Alright, guys. They've gone to sleep, and there is no plan.
So, I guess I'm kind of in the distance. Which way am I?
You would be coming probably kind of in this direction over here.
Okay.
Kind of approaching from the southeast.
All right.
I mean, obviously, it's starting to get dark, so you can start getting closer to the thing once the darkness is kind of, sunk in a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till it's nice and dark to do anything like that. But I'm going to kind of I see they've set up camp. They're probably not moving anywhere. I'm assuming I'm kind of low to the ground.
Okay.
I'm gonna
elbow crawling it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna kind of look through because I didn't really take time looking through the things I took from the gnome.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna take that time now to just see what he had. I assumed he probably had something like stun vial or something, which.
You managed to get that his crossbow, which to you would be a little more than probably it'd be like a hand crossbow. As you know, it only does like a D4 points of damage. It has very small bolts, of which there are 14 of those bolts. He had some funds, which I told you last week. He had 2 daggers. He had those kind of goggles that he had on, that he was wearing. And yes, he had 4 vials of liquid. Now, each vial of the liquid is kind of strangely shaped. They are like little bubbles, and they have quite a wide top and a fairly large round cork stopper in them. Okay. They don't look very practical to drink out of, I can tell you that much.
I would assume it's maybe not for that. So these goggles, I'm gonna see what's going on with them, because I don't know what's going on with them. Maybe try them on.
Okay, as soon as you put them on, everything is just black. It's dead black.
Okay.
You can see absolutely nothing out of them.
Huh. I'm gonna take them off then.
Now you can see again a small, a diminished amount. Basically, the moon is it's a fairly new moon. It's only about quarter, so there's a little bit of light, enough for you to see, the outlines of rocks and bushes and stuff. Of course, you can see the silhouettes of Midgard and at least 2 of his friends, and the silhouette of the coach in the distance, because the fire is kind of illuminating that area for you. So.
I'm gonna put the goggles away. They don't seem to be helping me much here.
Goggles of not seeing a thing.
Yeah. And then I guess as the night progresses, I'm gonna try and get a little closer and see if I can listen in without getting too close.
All right. Okay. So while Kyla is outside doing what Kyla is doing, unbeknownst to the rest of you, what are you guys up to inside the big ironclad coach?
Making dinner.
Okay, well, if you remember, there were about there's a handful of tomatoes and 3 or 4 apples were thrown in the back for you to eat, of which, in theory, none of you really could.
The last thing I think we said last session, was that we were not going to do anything this night because we were all still kind of injured.
Yeah, I just didn't know if seeing as you guys have had all this time to think and plan, whether that's still the game plan.
Yeah. I think it is.
We were supposed to think and plan? Oh, what?
Oh, it might not have been a terrible idea. Okay, so basically you three are going to do absolutely nothing then. You're just going to try to rest up. J-Fetch, thanks for the sub, my friend. 9 months!
Thank you, J-Fed.
That
Happy
means
baby.
you just had
Happy
your
baby.
How We Roll baby.
Happy
you
baby.
have to name it. That's the law. At 9 months, you have to name your imaginary How We Roll baby. What is it going to be called?
It's not imaginary.
It better be a good one because, you have to wait 9 months to do it again.
That's right, yeah. The law, damn it. What's to call it? Miss Mesra just subscribed with Twitch Prime. Thank you for that, Ms. We appreciate you. Welcome to the family. Take your pants off and hit the hype.
Welcome. Take your pants.
Thinking and planning on this channel? I know, right? The stress is real. Well, while you're thinking about what you should call your How We Roll baby, okay, well, as soon as they're doing absolutely nothing, let's go ahead and... Din 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 din. There's Kyla sneaking in.
Looks like there's good hiding-ishness over there.
There's a couple of small bushes. They're no more than probably about 2 feet. In bright daylight, they probably wouldn't give you much cover, but with the darkness, probably pretty well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead over there and kind of hide in those bushes and see if I can just kind of spy on these guys.
All right.
Get a note of their habit, their daily habits.
All
What do
right,
they do
we're
at-
about
what do they do at
35 feet or so away from you, so you can slink your way up to behind the bushes. All right. There's an aroma on the air. It's got a kind of a sour smell to it, as the wind is blowing you in your direction. It would appear from the silhouettes that you can see that they have a tripod over the fire, and a small cauldron is, hanging beneath it. Periodically, the woman with the armbands, the one that was the fellow, or that was the caster, she kind of reaches in with a big ladle and gives it a stir and then sits back.
Some kind of weird, this sour chili.
Sour scone chili.
I guess I'm trying to listen in, see if they're saying anything.
At the moment, they're all sitting fairly quiet. They don't seem to be a particularly talkative or overly friendly bunch. At least not yet.
Okay. I mean, I'm probably going to do this for however long it takes, keeping a low profile and
Okay.
making no sudden moves.
Right. Well, after about half an hour or so, finally, the caster chick kind of, you see her reach in and... It's as ready as it's going to be. Fine. Give me a bowl. And you see her kind of reach down, pick up some wooden bowls and start to pour this stuff into it and hands them one each to the bounty hunter Midgard and his darker skinned friend. She then walks over and hands a bowl to the large ironclad female half-orc. You guys inside the coach kind of see her walk over with the small barred window and hand something to the half-orc, who then actually stands up and takes it. You see her. That smells delicious. And she starts sipping it straight from the bowl.
Okay.
Right. After a short period of time, as an afterthought, she kind of looks in through the bars at you, and with her tusky grin, she smiles and she says, I bet you're hungry.
I am going to use my awakened mind and do a little tormenting
Okay.
as she looks at me. And I'm just going to instill the words and say, I think they shortchanged your portion size, especially with the gnome dead. Are you sure they gave you enough to be a big half-orc like you are?
All right. Okay, you've been dropping this into her brain for a reasonable amount of time. These constant digs. Let me go ahead and do something here. Let me pull this round. All right. I'm going to let you make a persuasion check roll to see how effective this constant mind nagging about them murdering her gnome or letting her gnomish friend die, how that's actually started to play on her mind.
Oh, God, please.
Let's see how well you can do.
Come on, Emlyn. Come on, man.
Oh,
that was
all right.
Oh,
That was so close. Did you see it teeter-totter? It was thinking about it. All right, okay, so you see her kind of like, here, I want more. This isn't enough for me. Of which you hear, well, finish that bowl. There's plenty more. Come and help yourself. Yes, I will. Thank you very much. And you see her like guzzle it down as quick as she can, and then walks away from the back of the coach as she stomps over to get herself another bowl of whatever this substance is.
I'm going to give a look that Thelonious still kind of gagged and be like, okay.
So, you guys inside the coach, you can hear, and Kyla, you can also hear. She says, you know, he was only a little fellow. We could have at least brought him with us. I mean, I could have stuffed him. Maybe kept him around as a keepsake. That's disgusting. Besides, it wouldn't have taken long before he began to smell, and our quarry would smell him give our position away. Despite any of that, we're not carrying around dead weight. Get it? Dead weight? It's a little bounty hunter humor for you. Oh, never mind. I never hired any of you for your senses of humor. With that, the half-orc has got her second bowl. And, Kyla, you see that the half-orc goes to sit down, of which Midgard says, are we forgetting something? Your place is at the back of the coach. It will only take a minute for them to escape. Make sure it doesn't happen, or there'll be other dead weight to leave behind. Are you threatening me? Says the half-orc. No. I'm merely saying that if they escape, the chances of one of us dying before we bring them all down is reasonably high. Fine. And with that, she goes and apparently picks up the fire and moves it. No, she goes and sits, comes back over, and you see her slump back down with her, as her heavy plate mail crunches down to the ground at the back of the coach once again. Right, with that, you notice that the woman has moved in a lot closer to where the darker-skinned individual is, and you, Kyla, you see her like motion for Midgard to get a little closer as well. Right, she leans in and starts to speak very, very quietly. You're in the open. Kyla, I would say, is a possibility. With careful hearing, you might be able to discern what's being said. So, you need to make a perception check.
I will do so gladly. And hopefully well. Nah.
Not bad.
Okay. You can't hear the entire conversation. Sometimes she dips just too low for you to catch the words. But you do definitely hear her say something about trusted and liability. And are we sure?
put my fears to rest. Okay. Ooh, high whiz score is easier to spot. She's a charisma caster. What am I talking about? She's stupid. Okay, I'm just gonna keep watching as this tea makes itself.
Okay. Well, basically, they they finish up their food, and then they kind of spread back out, get a little bit of distance, and you notice that they all start to kind of like roll out bedrolls and lay down and begin to get ready to go to rest. At which point you hear the half-orc say, "Don't forget, one of you's getting up so I can get some shut-eye in a few minutes." He goes, "Minutes? I mean hours. Hours." Midgard says, "Yes, that's fine. Just get yourselves on the top of the cart so you can see the surroundings. Don't get caught napping now." As she gets up and moves away, those of you in the cart very quietly hear her grumbling to herself. She's like, "Better be careful I don't slit your throat in your sleep." And then she clambers up on top as you hear up the side of the cart, like boom, boom, boom. She's heavily climbing her way up to the top.
I'd be making an additional effort to make myself harder to see at that point.
Alright, so you're like going to sink into the bushes?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, underneath the bushes, you're fairly sure that, unless she has really good night vision or anything, that you're almost probably not going to be easy to spot. But knowing orcs and their tendency to see well in the dark, that would definitely make me feel a little uneasy as well. So I totally understand why you are slinking. All right. Let's see. So I think, with that being said, we need a stealth check from you. Do you know how to send a stealth check just to me?
I can try. I don't know. Is there a? No, I don't know. How do I do it?
I believe it is. There's a whisper command. We don't usually use it, so hang on. I'll tell you in a second.
I mean, I could just take my modifier and put it in there.
Hang on. Yeah, you would want to. So yeah, I know how to do it to you guys. Just want to make sure.
It's like
/GM /W space GM and then the roll.
Okay. I'm just gonna type in the 1d20 plus 7 really quick.
That's right. Yeah, that makes life easy. And that will send me and chat.
Then we'll find out.
It should send me and chat your roll, so we know how well you did.
Just is that okay? So I need to.
Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
Good. Okay, then it worked. Because I see it.
Ooh.
GM roll is for me to roll Shabby. This is for him to send me a private roll. There, let's hide that so they, Alright, so, okay. Okay, so from your position, you see the half-orc climb up onto the front of the ironclad coach and periodically just kind of look around. You feel very uneasy as her eyes fall across the quadrant that you know you're hiding in, possibly like holding your breath in the hopes that you don't move, but it doesn't appear that she has spotted you.
Okay. Yeah, keep on keeping on. I can't really leave without alerting anyone at this point, so.
Well, in that case, you stay there quietly for about 3 hours. At that point, you kind of see the half-orc clamber down, wander over, and with a heavy mailed boot, gives the darker-skinned one in the studded leather a good shove. Your turn. Wake up. Yes. Fine. I will keep watch. But, remember, my eyes are not as keen as yours. Are you sure you don't feel more energetic? Perhaps you could watch a little further until... I'm sick and tired. It was me that had to bear the brunt of fighting that brute, while you ran around like a Nancy, charging around after little girls. I was doing the real fighting. You barely got touched. I need my rest. Fine, whatever. And with that, they swap places. The half-orc lays down in the bedroll, and the darker-skinned individual clambers up onto the top of the coach, sets his long knives down on his lap, and begins to kind of squint just to look into the dark around him. All right.
The way he's peering around, does it look like he might be perhaps a little less aware of his surroundings? Would I be able to tell from where I'm at looking
I
up
mean,
at him?
you overheard the conversation.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can see that when he does kind of look, he kind of leans in forward and tilts his head.
Okay.
Like his body language suggests that he obviously doesn't see anywhere near as well as the half-orc. In fact, after a few minutes of seemingly being vigilant, he kind of more or less gets fairly relaxed, and at that point, it's only every few minutes when he seems to bother to go. And then lays back in his position. Kind of see him slump back with his arms folded across his body.
Might be my cue.
Ninja, thanks for the resub. 44 months of support. Much love. Take your pants off. Hit the hype.
Almost 4 babies.
Oh, here's a small... He's going for his own five-a-side football team.
Seems to be looking only one certain way.
For the most part, as I said, about every 5 or 6 minutes, he kind of just does a casual glance when he remembers to, like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be on watch. Yeah, nothing going on.
I'm gonna try and get a gauge for a good gap in his time of doing that, I guess.
Alright.
Like you said, it's like every couple minutes, so give me a couple minutes to do something and then be on there.
Yeah, you can kind of... You kind of start to... I'll tell you what, this is how we'll work this. Give me an insight check.
Okay.
Because this is what it's for.
Oh. I didn't know. I usually just guess.
Alright, so you kind of watch him for a good 20-30 minutes, and you start to notice a body language pattern. Like, he leans forward, you'll see him kind of stretch his back a little bit, because obviously sitting up there must be pretty uncomfortable. Then he leans forward and kind of looks to the left, looks to the right, glances over his shoulder behind him, and then you see him kind of slump back down. And yeah, there's no exact time frame to it, but it seems to be that the time is getting a little longer and longer each time. After a while, you're kind of like thinking, okay, he's consistently been every, 3 or 4 minutes at this point. So you feel you've got a reasonable chance of having a 3 to 4 minute window. Unless, of course, you do something to bring attention to yourselves.
And I don't think we had a rest at any point, did we?
Well, those in the cart did, but you've been pretty much hoofing it behind, so you wouldn't have had, no.
Okay. So
well, I say that. You've been here in these bushes for a few hours, so I'd say you've had a short rest.
Okay.
Laying down and watching isn't exactly strenuous, so yeah, I'd give you a short rest for that.
I don't really have spells back yet, then.
Yeah, you probably if you need a long rest to get spells back, then yes, you have not had that, but you would have gotten your some hit points back.
I still have one casting of that though, so that ain't bad. Yeah, I'm gonna cast Silence.
Okay, where do you want to dump it?
Basically just kind of midway, roughly between me and them. Because
Okay.
I think it's a 40-foot diameter,
Yeah,
right?
pop it up. Let me pull up a. I've got an idea. All right.
bubble.
40
Oh,
foot.
pretty.
Oh, I'll ping it. Yeah, I'll be like about there-ish. But
Oh, I didn't want to do that. All right, hold on. It's 40 foot, the 20-foot radius, 40-foot diameter. I always get these confused because we. Let's see.
I've gone in and changed everything to diameter on my sheet just to make it a little more straightforward.
So that's 20 foot across.
Right,
So it
that's
should be-
radius. So it should
yeah.
be double that size, essentially.
No, it's it's 20-foot radius sphere
Right.
So-
and a
yeah, so it
40-foot
should be
diameter.
yeah.
So I need to push the center of it out another. Hang on.
Yes, double that size.
Yeah.
That's it. Hold up. There we go. Boom and boom. There it goes.
Cool. Look at that.
Okay.
Wow.
There is your zone of silence.
Okay. And while he's looking down, I'm gonna go ahead and dip my 4 of my arrows in the vial.
Arrows or bolts?
Do the bolts look like they have like an engraving thing that holds it, or no?
The bolts, actually, the shape of the bolts is fairly non-standard. Yes, it's got like
Okay.
like they've got grooves. It's kind of like
Okay.
a
Then I'd use
like a
the-
pyramid-shaped head, almost like it's an armor-piercing head. But it does actually have small, kind of like little flat grooves on each side
Okay.
that would help it contain and hold some of the thick, gooey liquid stuff. The stuff that's in those vials, it's like it's not that translucent. Like when you hold it and slosh it, it doesn't really slosh. It's kind of thick and gooey. So it obviously would
So-
stick to whatever you put in it.
So yeah, I'll put one on the crossbow on a crossbow bolt, then, and just
Okay.
stick that on the little crossbow.
The
give it a
crossbow
little pull.
bolt fits into the top of the vial perfectly. The vial is just deep enough to hold the entire head of the crossbow and just a crossbow bolt, and just wide enough for it to go in. You kind of stick it in and pull it out, and the majority of that vial is now all over the head of the bolt.
Okay.
So it's clearly one vial is one use.
I'm gonna do that twice,
Okay.
and then wait for the next moment I see him give up a look.
All right. He looks across.
Basically,
and
because
says,
the plan was dip silence
"What
on
the
it
hell is that
after
huge bubble that just appeared?" No.
Oh no!
No. Okay. Yeah. So you wait for him to do another half-assed glance, and then
Okay, and then I'm gonna go into that zone of silence and start creeping up.
all right. Okay. You slide out of the bushes
Oh, we're doing it.
into the bush. Okay. So yeah. For all intensive purposes, you're gonna make no noise all the time you are moving inside that bubble.
And everyone is deafened.
Mm-hmm.
If you're then.
So I've got my my dagger out at this point. I'm gonna try to coup de grace a couple of these.
Nice.
Starting with the wizard because you always start with the caster.
All right. Okay. Hold on.
Oh boy. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to quickly run up there and slit a throat.
Is he in the bubble?
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
Right. So you first of all you must remember this is 5e.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
It doesn't quite have the same rules as you might be thinking.
Okay.
But just to give you... Let's see. Basically what it does, you make all attack rolls with advantage, and any attack made within a 5 is automatically a crit. So you'd roll additional damage on anything that you get within. So if your crit range is, if you have to get a 20 on a 15 or higher, it counts as a crit.
And I have advantage on these because I'm like that, right? So then I'd get my sneak attack damage as well, and a crit could possibly do it.
Yep, so you can get you will get your sneak attack damage on a successful hit, and yes indeed, if you get a crit, especially against a caster, you might be able to do enough damage to take him out.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to do it where I'm attacking and bringing her closer into the zone of sound. So if she does struggle, it doesn't make any sound. She can't cast any verbal things at me, so anything like that should be good.
So
I'm just gonna go for it.
You want to try to grab her and pull her into it, or you want to stab first and move later?
I want to like pull her into the blade kind of thing, so that it's like a.
Let's see. Let me think here. That's the wrong.
I have the assassinate, and
Yeah, that's right.
I have advantage rolls on an attack that doesn't take into turn combat, and any hit I score against a creature that is surprised is a critical hit.
This would definitely count as surprise. So if that is the case, then it's an auto crits.
Hey!
Finally,
That's what it does.
finally, this character gets to do what it's designed to do.
Specifically.
All right. Okay.
Specifically.
So basically, you will be critting. So what are you gonna give? What are you gonna poke the wizard with?
Man, because now I'm thinking I just shoot with the bow, and because I get bonus to hit with the bow as well, and it's all silent anyway. But does that really? Yeah, that'll work.
Do you
Okay.
want to shoot? It depends, though. With a bow, do you really shoot from point blank?
No, not with my bow. I'd have to back up a little bit, but it's quiet. But then
Whatever you do is going to be quiet.
Yeah. So I'm gonna use the knife.
Want the knife? About the 80s reference. Okay.
There it goes. I'm stabbing. I'm stabbing throats. Okay, here we go.
Heart's
It
beating.
didn't roll with advantage. Damn it.
Okay, that's an 18.
Wait, no, it
Not
did.
that it matters. That is a crit
It's an
anyway.
18 and a 15. Yeah.
It did roll
Okay.
with advantage.
Okay. So then it's
So that's a hit.
what, plus another.
So you'll get an additional D4 because it's a crit.
Then
Now
it's a
you-
sneak attack.
Yep.
Plus. Okay, so it's slash R. Dang it, this is hard. I don't like this anymore. 1d4 plus my sneak attack damage is 2d6, so it'd be 4d6 because it's a critical. And then if a target hasn't had it, and I have advantage, okay, so 2d6, and then I get an additional attack with no sneak attack damage or anything.
Yep. So roll. Let's get the first stabby.
Stabby. Oh,
It's a total of 13. All right. So right. So you give her a
Slow
stab
roll.
with your dagger, which is 19. Okay. Obviously, that startles her awake. You know, you get to make your second attack.
it would probably, before anything else, be throwing her. I guess that's a grapple then, wouldn't it be?
If you're trying to pull, but If you're doing a grapple, that would be your attack.
Okay, so I can't do multiple. Okay.
You can do
So then-
2 attacks and a grapple.
Okay. So then I'm just gonna go ahead and stab her again. I
Okay.
think the weapon choice just killed me here.
Should have stabbed her with a great sword.
She's still prone,
Should have
right?
stabbed her with
Tolgar's
Tolgar's axe.
Yeah, she's still prone, so it's advantage still.
Yeah, yeah. Yep, you still have advantage on the second attack.
Yep.
So,
Roll type with advantage. Here we go.
Yep.
Oh, they're both not.
that's
Oh.
a hit, but the damage
Ow.
is pants. Alright, but I would still give you the sneak attack damage on it.
Okay.
Because technically, even though she's awake, she's still pretty much surprised.
I would be getting stabbed awake.
I would say being stabbed in your sleep would be
I
fairly
think that's fair.
surprising.
That's fair.
Bad memories.
And surprise and alarm!
Hey.
There we go.
Alright, so it's 8 plus 4 is another 12. Alright, so the question is, have you done a total of 27 or more damage? 29,
How much has she had?
27 is what she had. You just did 31!
Yes!
Alright, she is out cold.
Yes.
Holy falafel.
Alright, whether she's dead or not, hey, if you want to stick around, that's up to you. But she
Okay.
is definitely the second
Let's-
knife got a
No, it's still quiet.
reaction.
Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to
Don't you
pat her
just loot
down
the body.
for what? No,
and
I'm
leave.
patting her down and finding her her valuables.
and then leave, and then you're gonna run away. Leave
No,
us
no,
there?
no, 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 no. I'm
Are
going
you just giving
to.
her a reach around and
No. I'm gonna like
Is
grab her like
valuables like
coins.
some kind of
like
I'm gonna grab her coin pouch.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go over to this orc. I'm
Alright.
going to plant it on the orc, and
Ooh.
I don't know.
Oh.
The orc probably set down the weapon. Yeah.
Oh, she's not. Basically, she's laid her shield next to her, and her sword is laying on the shield. She's kind of rolled
It's-
over on the side next to it.
Okay,
So if she
perfect.
comes awake, she can grab the sword immediately.
Perfect.
But
Link
yeah.
it
Exactly what I wanted to hear. I am putting the orc sword into the caster.
Oh, so you're gonna pick
Oh,
up the
nice.
sword, sneak over, and push it into the caster.
Yes. And then I am going to leave as quickly but quietly as I can back into my other hiding spot further into the field.
Okay.
Jesus. Well,
You go into the bushes, or are you getting like way past the bushes?
I'm getting way past the bushes. I'm
Okay.
leaving. For all intents and purposes.
Alrighty. Okay.
God.
Well.
And that's my
I
yeah.
can see Kyla now sitting there going. Can't wait to see what happens. Okay. Alrighty.
And the zone is gone.
Yep.
So I can hear it. Ah,
Okay.
yes, I did it.
All right.
Ooh,
Well,
I'm waiting for that.
a few minutes later, Salazar takes another casual look around, lays back, and a couple more hours pass. When eventually Salazar drops down and makes his way over.
Here we go.
And gives the but initially just as a kind of a half asleep reaction, just reaches down and shoulder shakes the girl, and then what the quickly waken as you hear him shout. You guys in the couch are probably awoken by this. The half-orc wakes up. Midgard leaps to his feet as quickly as he can, almost like instantly ready and alert. He says, "We have been attacked in the night. Look." They rush over immediately to look down at their no longer moving friend. Where's my sword gone? Says the half-orc. I think I have found it. Right here. Buried almost to the hilt. In the body of our friend Elendria. With that, they all kind of stop and look. You hear... What? You don't think I'd be stupid enough to murder her in our sleep and stay here, do you? With that, they kind of look at each other. At which point you hear Midgard say, probably not. Although, clearly we have had an uncanny and devious visitor in the night.
Oh, man.
Quickly, check the wagon! With that, the half-orc grabs hold of the sword and pulls it out of the body and charges over. You guys suddenly see her grab hold of the bars with one hand and rattles her blade hilt up and down the bars to make sure you're awake. You! Wake up!
I have a gag in my mouth.
forgot.
I'm just sitting up
Yeah, I
looking at the bars.
Yeah.
You see her. She tries the bars, and then you hear her open the door, pull it open, and she jumps in the back, grabbing hold of. Let's see. Grabbing hold of Emlyn, she snatches hold of you and yanks you out of the back, and roughly allows you to fall out the door and clump down to the ground. Right, okay, no sooner are you on the ground than the fellow with the two knives is hovering above you, both of them drawn, kind of cross-bladed at your throat. Thelonious, you see that her huge, big, mawish hand is reaching for you next.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, she grabs you, roughly pulls you up, and hurls you out of the coach as well.
Okay.
And then with that, looking at the size of Tolgar, she goes, "You, get out! Get out now!"
I can't move.
Right, she clambers up in there, comes over and grabs hold of the chains that are around your legs and starts to pull you out of the coach. Stepping down, eventually Tolgar comes.
So it's not attached to the chains aren't attached.
The chains weren't attached to the wagon,
Oh.
no. They're just, basically you've got your manacles, and then your manacles are behind you, and there's a very short chain that goes from those manacles to your ankles. Like, you're actually, your position is kneeled. You can't actually stand up straight. Because the chain was too short. Remember when they pushed you to your knees and
So
pulled the
it's gonna
shortest?
Scoot on out of there.
Yep, so,
Yeah. Knee shuffle out.
all right. Midgard comes over, and he kind of looks at all of you. First thing he does is kind of looks at the half-orc and says, I don't believe it was any of these anyway. I would recommend that we be on the lookout for a small red-headed girl. Salazar! You never... Did you see where she went? Yes, I told you she ran into that church and they were giving her, what did they call it? Some word that meant, protection. I am still struggling with some of the more complex words of your language. Alright, right, Midgard kind of comes over. You see him grab hold of your gag, and he snatches it off. And you see him kind of look at it when he sees how easy it comes off with a bit of a squint.
Look,
As you go to speak, the guy with the crossed blades like pushes them a little further so you can feel him kind of pressing hard.
Okay.
He says,
okay.
"If I hear anything that sounds like an incantation."
Look, Kyla, the redheaded friend, look, I'm gonna be blunt. She's a bitch, okay? We are no more friendly with her than you were with that little shortstop gnome with the goggles.
Well, clearly she has a different sentiment. She was willing to risk her life sneaking in here as a futile attempt to rescue you.
Rescue us? No, I'm sorry, but have you met us? She would not rescue us. I mean, no, it's just funny. I don't know what else to say. I mean,
then who would have been brazen enough to sneak? Who would have been quiet enough to sneak into our camp and murder my sorceress?
Van de Wint.
No, Tolgar. Oh, I mean, you, the half orc, obviously. Don't stab me. But
while the evidence would suggest it, the circumstances and common sense does not. I believe this individual is just very, very devious. It's the sort of thing I might have done.
Did you hear during dinner the barbs that they were trading, the sorceress and your half orc, about portion sizes, the like?
Yes.
Look, it would be the smart thing to do a murder and not retreat, because that would just make you all the more obviously guilty. No? I mean,
I'm not going to fall for your double negative quandary. I suppose she would say, yes, but knowing that, why wouldn't I have escaped? Because I'd assume you knew this and you would go round and round in circles. No, we'll stop at the most logical choice.
Well, why don't you search your half-orc friend for maybe the sorceress had something that the ugly orc wanted.
Well, that would be remarkably convenient, especially as you just suggested it.
I've been gagged in an Iron Maiden. I pissed myself. I mean, you didn't give us a bathroom break. Sorry, Thelonious, but it's true.
That's what that smell is.
Well, it could also be the dead corpse guy. I mean, Thelonious here is masticated as it is. He has no liquids, but I had to go to the bathroom.
With that, you can see the half-orc patting herself down and pulling up. Where did this come from? Yes. This is not my money pouch. I don't know where it came from. I didn't have it earlier. There's witchcraft afoot.
Oh, no, don't say that, because it's really not true this time. No witches here.
All right, well, it looks like Kyla's got an inspiration point. Yes. Because people liked your filthy skullduggery. And I must confess, I quite liked it too. So,
I figure the worst that could happen is I'll get inspiration, so...
Yeah, that's the worst that can happen, right? So here you go. Have an inspiration point.
I didn't get this music.
Yeah, I did.
Thelonious
me better.
All right, well done. Okay. Okay, you can see that there's clearly a lot of confusion on their faces. But you definitely get the feeling Midgard's not buying the whole thing. He's dubious, he's skeptical, but you know, it's almost like he's aware of some things that perhaps you're not. Which becomes more apparent when he kind of looks and says, "The biggest reason I do not believe that Rashkar would have murdered Elendria is fear. After all, Tolgar, Emlyn,
Do you remember? I have an uncanny ability of being able to track my foes once I have laid eyes upon them.
And with that, you kind of see that little ching flash in his eyes as he glares at Tolgar.
No!
It's almost like a...
Did you just do it right there? Your eyes glint.
Like, yeah, literally his eyes kind of like just go ching,
Was that it? Was that
and like with a little glowing flash.
Well, congratulations, you found us.
If I just cut out your eyeballs, will that break it?
If you cut out my eyeballs, I will become stronger than you possibly
God.
ever imagined.
Okay. No, he just kind of looks at you and he says,
If you do manage to escape, I will find you.
with that, you kind of see him. He looks at Rashkar and Salazar, and he says,
Load them in the back. We need to move.
with that, Reshkar the half-orc grabs hold of Emlyn, snatching the gag from the hand of Midgard. She kind of wraps it around and pulls it incredibly tightly, almost to the point where it's like, it hurts as she pulls it so tight. And you look at the grimace on her face as she's like, and then ties it. So you're literally like,
Very nice noise.
pulled all the way back. Then
Looks
she
like
grabs
Botox.
you,
Emily
lifts you
got
up, and
Botox.
hauls you towards the back. All right, okay. She bundles you up in the back. Unless you're trying to do anything.
Nope.
All right, Thelonious. All right, she does the same,
Nope.
gets you in there. And then her and Salazar help to manhandle Tolgar into the back.
So this whole time, I was just looking to see where there would be a key for my shackles, just to know where it might be at. Did I see it on any of them as we were all talking?
Okay, so you've noticed that you saw Rashkar open the cell door with a key, and there is more than one key on her key ring. So you could assume that maybe one of those other keys is to your shackles.
Okay. Where did she put it when she...
Basically, she just kind of like she's just kind of like clips it to her belt, so it's like hanging off of her belt.
Okay.
Okay, alrighty.
Gotcha.
Right, with that, they bundle you in and shut the door.
My eyes glint on the keys.
Tolgar's eyes go ching. All right, and they go over and begin to douse out the flames. You hear as they kind of toss some water on it, and then you hear like boom, 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 as they start stamping out the rest of it. And then you hear a conversation that's somewhat surprising. You hear Midgard say,
We're going to let them go. But why? Think of the... Trust me. We're going to let them go. But not now. We're going to get a little further up the road. Keep them awake. Make sure that they are, not well rested for the rest of the day. This tomorrow evening, right before we camp, we're going to, let them out the back. I don't understand. Oh, it will all become apparent. Trust me.
okay.
So you said everyone in the back of the Iron Maiden hears it, or
You guys would have all heard it. I would say that Kyla's way too far away at this point to have heard it. But you guys will have heard the conversation. It was quiet, but it wasn't silent.
So Midgard wanted us to hear that.
So,
possibly?
One could assume.
all right.
He's a smart man.
And with that,
Smart work.
they clamber up. And you hear Midgard say,
Leave her. You know the rule. We don't carry dead weight.
Sorry, girl.
All right, they load back up on the wagon, leaving the corpse behind, and whoosh, yeah, and off they go. Right, periodically the half-orc keeps rattling the hilt of her sword along the small bars, and you awake in there? Stay awake. Stay awake. As the thing as they take the coach and start to head down the main road, leaving Kyla back there in the distance. By this time, it's kind of like the sun is just beginning to rise, so it's slowly. You're at daybreak. Kyla's still got plenty of cover to continue to skulk along behind unseen, and that's a pretty good start for us to actually remember to have a break. Only because Satchma reminded me, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a short break. So, it's daytime and the coach is pretty much going to travel on all day. I'm going to move it over here and just reinvent this map because all grassy roads look the same. Just going to recycle it over and over as many times as I need. You know what? Just to be original. Just to be really original.
Oh.
Not the same now, is it? No.
Well, holy crap. Look at that shot.
That changes my whole strategy.
Right, yeah, you can't do the thing you were going to do that involved the rock now, can you?
Yeah, make
I did that
the carriage with the rock.
I did that to a traveling party one time in the desert. They had a long trek through the desert to do, so I made like several maps of desert exactly identical. But then, like, I put the one map out, they, like, traveled across it, and I'm just like, just to save on maps, I turned it around, and I'm just like, okay. And then, like, we rolled events, nothing happens, and then I'm like, okay, and then finally, same map.
Keep on keeping on. Okay. All right, so yes, so all that day, it basically travels, and they are constantly making noise, hurling insults at you through the front of the coach, and generally speaking, ensuring that you guys don't get any rest. Not that it's easy to rest when this thing's moving anyway, because as you can imagine, its suspension is not the greatest, and these roads are not the smoothest. So you're definitely doing this number as you're traveling down the road anyway. So, Okay, Kyla, how far back are you once it gets broad daylight, you're on open plains, so it's there's not a whole lot of cover for the most part.
Yeah, so I want to be able to, like, barely see it, essentially.
Okay, so you just want to be able to you staying far enough back to where you can see the coach, but, not to where you can, like, pick out much detail. Alright.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it continues on, pretty much, goes all the way up. You pass the, you kind of see it in the distance as it levels to where, remember the watchtower that you came past? On the way to Bamforth? By mid to late afternoon, this thing has passed the Bamforth turnoff and is heading along towards that watchtower. So it's heading kind of back to the main north to south road, which would make sense if they're going to take these criminals to Iridian. But it carries on pretty much for the entire day until it starts to get dark. Even then, they carry on until it is just about pitch black. Do you wish to change your approach in any way, or?
I mean, yeah, I'd be getting a bit closer when it's a bit darker, but just so I could see. And I'd be off of the road so that I can hide if need be.
Okay, eventually the wagon comes to a grinding halt. Midgard says to the half-orc,
"Get them out of the back, now. Leave them tied and gagged. You, Salazar, give her a hand."
Salazar and Reshkar climb out the back. You hear them pull it open. "Out, you!" And again, she reaches in, grabs hold of Emlyn by the leg, and hauls him out the back.
Ouch.
Roughly letting you just drop to the ground. She manhandles poor old Thelonious as well, and then does the same thing as she pulls Tolgar out. Right, with that, you hear from the front of the... He goes,
Quickly, hurry now. Climb aboard.
with that, immediately, Salazar dashes round and clambers up. The half-orc takes a couple of steps that way, stops, turns around, and with a vile, evil grin, just rears back and kicks Tolgar in the mouth as hard as he possibly can with the boot. Like,
That's a high
smack!
kick. Or is he on the ground?
Can I respond to that?
It does 5 points of damage. How do you want to respond? You're kind of laying on your side with your feet curled up and your hands back.
Oh, I thought I was standing up.
No, remember you can't stand. Your chain is too short between your hands and your ankles.
Dang it.
The most you can do is be on your knees.
I'm just gonna go, Theo!
And then she comes and clambers up. And then you basically hear the grinding of the coach as it begins to move off. And you hear, yeah! And it actually starts to move considerably faster than it has done so. Left somewhat bewildered and on the ground in the dirt, the coach disappears off into the distance, leaving you laying there.
No weapons or anything, I assume.
Your stuff would still be on that coach. Actually, well, here's the thing. Actually, no. It probably wouldn't under the circumstances. What happens is that they probably get a couple of 100 feet. This makes more sense. They probably get like several 100 feet down the road, and then you see them like just hurling some of your stuff onto the side of the road, and then they carry on.
Emlyn, get me out of these shackles.
Yeah, I'm going to, because my wrists were freed by Thelonious.
Yeah, your wrists are pretty loose, and so are Theo's.
I'm going to undo it, take the gag off.
Me too.
Oh, I have a headache. That's fucking...
So,
Yeah, it's like really sore, and you've got like sore marks along the sides of your jaw where the saliva was just kind of soaking the thing through and just rubbing your face.
I'll get the stuff. You free Tolgar. We are clearly not out of danger here. I'm gonna run the 200. I'm gonna run down the road to get our equipment.
Okay. So basically, what they would have hurled out would have been any basic weaponry that you had. The staff is probably still there because they didn't pay much attention to it to care. Cash, loot, actual money, that's gone. They've kept your cash, but they actually hurled your gear back onto the roadside.
And the books? The 3 books?
They don't give a shit about books.
All right. So I'm going to pick it all up and return.
All right.
Alright, yes, you told me to get Tolgar out of his shackles. How do you propose I do that?
Right. By now, Kyla,
Give a
you're
rock.
probably getting close, and the wagon's far enough away if you want to, start making it towards your friends. So, Emily, you're going to go and grab all the stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is the axe with us too? I mean, the great axe?
Tolgar, they never took Tolgar's great axe.
was
Remember,
left behind, yeah.
that orc
Tolgar
threw
dropped it.
Tolgar's great axe to the side whenever Tolgar surrendered, and it never got picked up.
Oh, so it's back in the city.
I picked it up.
Fortunately, Kyla was smart enough to pick it up for
Thank
you,
you,
but you don't know that yet.
Well, so Marcus has us in his sights, and he's probably in his wolf form, circling us. Oh, hi, Kyla. Yeah.
Wait, is that... No. If they were
Yes.
just going to dump you, I wouldn't have bothered following you.
Kyla, we're baits.
Oh, okay. I'm just
And
gonna
you just
turn around and
approach.
start walking away.
Hi.
Leave the axe, maybe, so we could. Yep, and there it is.
No, that's not it. I'm just
Oh.
moving it. Sorry.
Oh my god.
I'm just moving it so I can.
Just comes right back around.
It's like, what was the point of that, you dumbasses? And why did you give us our weapons back if you were going to just engage us in combat?
Yeah, I'll drop the axe over by Tolgar.
Legendary bounty hunter, you're a moron!
Yeah, somebody break the free axe.
Can we swing it and possibly not cut off your hands or feet?
Or maybe Kyla can lockpick it?
Oh, well, yes.
I mean, I could try. It's not really my...
It's more likely, it's safer. Do you have lockpicks?
Not unless I found them on the mage.
Then no. Okay, what you did find on the mage, I'll send to you.
Okay.
Okay,
So as this is happening, I'm just looking around, seeing if I see any wolves.
I think we're just gonna go regroup it.
that's all that was physically on her. The money pouch you gave to the half-orc. And the rest of her belongings were probably on the coach, because she was just down there to sleep. So, but that's what she had on her.
Okay.
Okay? Alright.
So, that being said, I'm going to actually go up to Thelonious and... I mean, is he still bound?
Thelonious probably, he was unbound earlier. He was the one that kept his hands loose, so he probably freed himself as soon as they were out of sight.
Yep. Zemlin, but who's bound other than Tolgar? Is anyone, or
No,
is it
Just Tolgar.
Just me.
Then yeah, I'll just go up right up to the two finger wigglers, and I'm just going to suddenly pull out a whole bunch of magic, possibly stuff, and just be like, first off, these goggles. I don't know if the gnome was just blind or what, but they don't work. Maybe there's something about them. Then there's this. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna take the poop smelling ring. Just be like, I don't know if this does anything, but probably. And then the necklace that I picked up from the sorceress would be going in that pile.
Okay. So you basically put down a ring, the necklace, the goggles. Yeah?
Yeah, those are what I have, yep.
Okay. Alright.
To their knowledge. As of now.
As far as they know, that's what you have.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
just
pick up the goggles.
Hey zombie, good to see you, man. I know it's getting late for you, so have a good one, buddy. Have a great day at school tomorrow.
You said these don't work, and I'm gonna put the goggles on and look through them.
You can't see squat.
I'm gonna close my eyes.
You still can't see squat. In fact, you can see,
You see
more squat
everything.
than
Nice
you
try.
could see before.
You can see even more nothing.
You can see double
can I-
negatives worth of nothing.
Can I do a skill check, knowledge arcana, and try to determine about attunement?
Well, you know that. I mean, you guys
Right. So if
you
the
know
gnome
the
is not-
items have to be attuned to you before they work.
right, and if the gnome is not technically dead, the goggles are still attuned to it, right? That's what I'm. That's my. train of
For a
thought.
period of time.
Okay.
Yep. If you basically, if he's still attuned to them, then I think you'll have to wait. You should know.
That's.
But basically, the items will become unattuned when they are removed from the person that has them. While they're attuned, if that makes sense. So, like, once they're no longer in their possession, after a period of time, they become unattuned. Once
All right.
that happens, anybody else. Basically, it's like they have to be more than 100 feet away from the person for a 24-hour period.
Okay.
And then a new person can attune it. Or if they die, a new person can attune it.
Right.
But that's the sort of stuff that I would say, By
Okay.
a mage of your, a warlock and a wizard of you guys' level would know these things.
So I'm just going to shrug and like pass the goggles back to Thelonious.
And you,
Who I
you, can
assume-
you can choose to end an attunement yourself just by spending a long rest concentrating on basically the item going, I don't want you anymore, you suck, go away, I don't want you, go away, and you can unattune yourself.
Okay.
So how long have you been holding out on us with this loot here, Kyla?
Oh, well, so the goggles were on the dwarf, and then the ring here and that other, the necklace there, those were on the mage, yes.
Oh, all right.
So I
want
figured
that
I'd bring
sword
them and
that
show
the
them to you.
half-orc has.
What was that,
I
Tolgar?
want the sword that the orc has.
The orc that drove away and is still alive.
Yes.
Probably.
I want to shove it into his brain.
I would think you'd want the flaming sword that Midgard has. That seems a little bit more up your
I don't
alley.
like hot things. Burn my fingers.
Burn me fingies.
Burn my fingies.
Well,
Tolgar can't be trusted with matches.
is there any way we can A, free Tolgar, and B, figure out what these things are,
I'm
and
growing impatient, so do it.
and C, spring the trap that is clearly upon us? I mean, maybe Midgard realized that we would technically outnumber them, and so put the tracking on us and let us go because he'd track us down later when he gets more people.
No, I think it's more he can now inquire as to our bounties, claim us villains, and because now we've killed 2 of his friends and the price on us will be higher.
But Tolgar and myself know that he can track us indefinitely. And he did that flashy eye thing to you, Tolgar, or maybe
I saw
you.
the flash of the eye. It was not a wink.
Yeah, you
I
remember
wanted
before,
it to heal me.
that's how he always seemed to be able to find you no matter what you did to hide. He always seemed to just know where you were.
Maybe he wants us to track down to went for him.
I really think that he is going to either get more troops, or he's circling around us right now and is about to attack us.
One of the 2.
To which we should free Tolgar.
Please!
And maybe hide in this boys' club I've been hearing about. I'm gonna just take a look at the chains. I mean, I said I put the axe by him, but he can't pick it up, so probably pick up the axe and just see if there's like a way we could arrange Tolgar to where he wouldn't be in immediate danger.
I mean,
like if he's like bent
if he lays on
backwards,
his
maybe-
side with his
yeah.
hands outstretched and his ankles outstretched, you probably have a gap of about that far between his back and the chain. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's good enough.
Yeah, you could break the chain.
a
That
few
would work.
a few untrained swings with an incredibly big, heavy axe, you may not kill Tolgar.
We'll just get him drunk.
Please don't. Go for it.
Try? And I'm going to try and nudge him to knock him over because Tolgar is huge, and I wouldn't be able to knock him over myself.
Right. Okay. I mean, you can, if that's what you want to do.
You want to?
Can, I mean, at the very least, you can split the chain to where he's able to stand. He's still going to have the manacles around his ankles and his wrists, but then, of course, there's chains about this far apart around his wrists and around his ankles. So, if you don't get rid of them, he'll be like short-stepping his way all the way back to Horrendon on the Mere.
You can get me in some roller skates. I don't need to stretch it.
Get
We
this
just-
man some roller skates.
Where's Rush Brinkley when you need him to invent something?
Look, what you can deal with the manacles that are physically around the wrists, as long as he can use them, right? We'll deal with those later.
I'm sure I could hurt people with them.
So yeah,
The biggest problem you're going to have is the fact that the ground is, if you smack the chain with a huge big axe on the ground out here, it's going to more or less, most of that is just going to sink into the ground. So you're not, it's going to, you really...
He's got a shield to put underneath it.
You need something, yeah, it's like, if you try it a couple of times, you realize real quick, this isn't going to work. We've got to have something solid for this chain to rest on.
The rock.
There's a migrating rock up there.
Yes.
One of those rare migrating rocks?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you want to look around until you find a moss-covered rock poking out of the ground, and do it. Well, I'm not going to make you roll for it. It's one of those things that if you're doing it and you're trying to be careful, it'll take you a while because you just don't have Tolgar-like oomph behind it. The truth is, this axe isn't magical in any way, is it, Tolgar?
No.
So the biggest problem is the axe is going to be somewhat screwed up by the time you're done.
Well, what if I'm going to look over at Emlyn? Oh, Emlyn, I have a thought. Maybe you could loan some thought behind this. What if I put a bit of fire on the shackles to make it more malleable to perhaps split apart?
Wouldn't cold be better?
Well, possibly, except I don't really have that under my control at the moment.
I mean, yes.
I
honestly don't.
If you can superheat the metal, it definitely would be easier to cut.
Oh, I was unconscious when you destroyed that metallic thing.
What? No. That was a totally different spell. That had nothing to do with it.
I mean, you could.
Yeah, I destroyed that with my axe.
The issue with
Until
superheating
it
a piece of metal while somebody's, I don't know, connected to that piece
I
of
think it
metal
might
that's been
hurt me.
superheated. Yeah, that gets quite hot.
Yeah, you might get a suntan.
Well,
I
not the
told
entire
you I don't
piece.
like heat on my fingers.
I think Thelonious is trying to say he wants to focus on one or two of the middle links or something.
Yeah, that's more what I was looking at.
Not superheat the entire chain
No,
system.
not the whole thing.
Could also try something like this. I'm going to take one of the daggers and put it through the hole of one of the chains,
Right.
like chain links, and just kind of have it fed there, and just kind of push it till it's jammed, and see if the width of it will
I mean, this is thick chain. It's not like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just
this
seeing
is
if I
proper
could get it
secure
wedged.
prisoner chain, so the links are welded, and it is heavy, so the dagger's not going to cut it. I know what you're trying to do, and with a lesser chain that might have absolutely worked, but not with a chain of this girth.
Because I was thinking getting that big migrating rock over there, and then bringing it back over here, and then
Beating Tolgar in the head until he's dead.
Just get it over with already. I have to scratch my head.
I was gonna see about using the rock as the driving a wedge through it to try and
I mean, either way, what you're going to have to... It's all going to come down to the only weapon you have heavy enough. Unless any of you have got something like a pick or something, the axe is probably the only thing that you're going to have that's got enough oomph and weight to really pound through that chain.
Tolgar, we'll get you a better weapon than that battle axe. Let's just use it because we need you free.
This weapon came from my tribe. Use it.
Alright, okay. So yeah, basically, I mean, the axe will still be usable. What do you roll? A D10 or a D12 for your axe that you have?
12.
Alright, well now it's a 10.
Shit.
It'll be a 10 until such time that it is either properly fixed or is mended or whatever. But it's still usable. It's just doesn't have the edge that it used to have.
like a proper barbarian.
So finally, you work the metal enough to get Tolgar free, and I'm assuming you're gonna get his legs, and all that free as well. So by the end of it, he's still got a manacle on. He's got a manacle on each leg, or a shackle on each leg with a short piece of chain dragging behind it, and one around each of his wrists with a short piece of chain hanging from it. It looks like just really crap jewelry at this point.
I was gonna say, if we paint it, people won't suspect a thing. Just look like bracelets.
I'm
I'm just gonna
call it bling.
After this, I'm just gonna be looking at Thelonious with a brow raised.
What?
You're just gonna leave your preciouses over there?
What? Oh, you mean the loot?
Yeah.
No. I would have picked them up. I was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I would have grabbed them and put them away.
So basically,
I wouldn't have identified
the
them.
only items that Tolgar, Emlyn, or Thelonious do not have currently is basically coinage, gems, or anything jewelry that looked of any worth or value.
Okay.
So if you have any item that's jewelry that was was flashy or whatever, they would have taken that. But anything
right.
that wasn't obvious monetary value, they would not have messed with.
So should we follow the carriage?
I mean, by now you wouldn't be able to see the carriage. You know the direction it was going, and you know that they was going to
But it's slow.
Iridian.
Kyla
Well,
caught up
it's
with it.
slow when it was just trundling along during the day. I mean, it hauled ass when it left out of here. But of course, that is taking you further and further in the wrong direction to where your original quarry is as well. In fact, if you make it all the way to Iridian, it'll be months before you ever get back to wherever poor Thunderwind has gotten to.
I mean,
At this point, you know that he was a good 6 weeks ahead of you. Prior to, you'd made up a couple of weeks in time, so you were getting closer, but now you're actually 3 or 4 days in the wrong direction.
how far is the guard tower that we passed between Bamforth and Horindon on the Mare? Because we passed it and we angled
About three days ride.
Oh, I thought we passed it going this way.
You have
we just passed
you have
the road.
passed it.
But
Because
we've
remember,
only gone.
you go because if you remember, the road goes straight across the river into Bamforth, and then it veers off down through the hills to Horindon.
Right.
So you came all the way up to that crossroads onto the Bamforth Road, and you've gone past Bamforth.
That was over 2 days because we got captured,
Yes.
did a long rest. So, okay.
So
I
getting
thought
back
we'd
to
be
tower
closer
would be-
to the tower than
You're closer
Not.
to you are closer to the tower than anything else at this point.
right, and that is 3 days away. You said, because that's where I'm.
Oh no.
confused.
Okay,
Oh,
no.
yeah.
I was saying that you.
Right.
You would've,
Distance-wise.
if you was to turn around and go back to Horindon right now,
Yeah.
you would have been like 3 days ride. So
But the tower is
the tower from here is probably only a few hours walk.
okay. So I'm gonna say, I say we go to the tower, we kill those idiots who are guarding in there, we get those manacles off of Tolgar, maybe find a horse, haul ass, and deal with Midgard later on.
If there's a horse at the tower, then that's a good idea. We know that he took the river south.
He went south from He went south from the mere that Horindon rests upon.
There is a road south, just west of us. It might be a quicker
The
way to head
road
back
to the
trail.
west of you, it does go south, but it goes southwest.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, look, we are going to encounter Midgard, if not tonight, because they did not let us rest, which is telling me that they plan to do something tonight. And the
I
howling,
think we should head back to the tower.
at least the
Yeah.
tower, we can have some form of defense, right?
Fortification.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go
Thelonious.
kill some kind and stupid guards.
Alright. So that's
If-
what you guys want to do, is head to the guard tower?
Yeah.
Alright, well you when you get back to the guard tower, if you remember, there was only a couple of guards that were there in the first place. By the time you get there late at night, because I mean it's going to be in the early wee hours of the night. By the time I see a cat, hello cat. So yeah, you'll make it back to the watchtower. That won't be a problem.
Okay.
Upon getting there, I mean, you can see that there's a dim light inside the watchtower. There is a horse tied up outside at the back.
Let's take it. Just one horse, not
There is only
four,
a horse.
not four.
No, the two guards, who are very much not rich, have a horse. Basically, the horse is a runner. It's, if you remember at the place when you were there last time, there was an older guard and a young guard. And the young guard was the runner. He would basically jump on the horse and gallop towards Bamforth to warn them of whatever pending threat may be coming that way. That's their strategium.
I think we should take over the tower.
Well, we should probably walk up and get the horse away from them first.
To be honest, stealing that horse is probably going to be like taking candy from a baby. You could just walk around the back, unhook it, and leave.
So I was thinking,
What are we gonna do with one horse, though?
probably eat for one night.
Yeah, but
I eat 2 horses each.
the thing, Kyla,
And that's
is
just for breakfast.
we have no money, and while those guards might not be rich, they might have something that we could use to scrape by.
Right. Should be known.
You
I may
all
have
have
acquired.
no money.
I may have acquired a certain wealth from a gnome, a friend of mine, back in the city. And that being said, we might be perfectly fine for a while.
Oh.
But you take the horse, how are we going to travel efficiently?
Well, there was one other cart. It wasn't as good as the... Do you hear that?
Yes, I don't want to be out in the open.
Let's just take over the tower and then we'll deal with it.
Okay.
Alright.
We are going to go to the tower, Gore.
Okay, alright. Second. Okay, off to the tower you go. So, is your game plan just basically when you get to it just to kick the door in and murder the 2 guards?
We're going to scout it out first, right?
Yeah.
Get the lay of the land, not be stupid, because we might kick the door into a guard convention. Yeah, just a bunch
Yeah,
of
you
people.
did see
having
those
Thanksgiving.
signs that were saying, on the umpteenth of Inktober.
October 15th.
No, I mean, honestly, we were going to scout it out because this is after the festival in Horrington, so there might be traffic going through the day, and we don't want to, if they might have people sleeping or resting on their travels, right?
Right.
So we want to be careful, not...
All right. Well, after scoping it out, I mean, it's pretty obvious that there's going to be... You can't see how many guards are in there because there's no open windows that you can really see into. But there is only a horse tied up outside, and you don't hear much in the way of any noise or commotion inside there. And there's only a single wooden door that leads in or out of this place.
Tolgar, if you wouldn't mind standing off to the side here. Like in front of the door.
What?
I'm just gonna knock. When the door opens, just hit whatever comes through.
I am actually really good at that.
Even
I
with
know.
my broken axe. Okay. Alright. So you can just...
Yep.
Alright. You hear a... What the... Hang on. Yes?
Hey, I was just wondering if I could get some directions.
Yes?
Right, I seem to be lost. I was at the festival just as long as I can remember ago. I had a few drinks and now I'm here.
Well, you've
travelled out from Horrendon, have you?
Yeah, and I was hoping to get back. I seem to have left some belongings.
Oh, back to Horrendon?
Yeah,
Well, that must be quite a drunken stupor you've been in, if you've got all the way from Horrendon to this far.
I don't want to talk about it. If you wouldn't mind my staying in, I have quite a headache.
Staying? Oh, don't know about that. Don't really have much to offer. There's no bedding here as such, only a couple of
It's
cots.
okay, is there a corner I can just crash in and not, I don't know, sit out here and, I don't know.
Are you by yourself?
I am. I'm gonna look at everyone else and be like, make yourself scarce.
Okay, you hear,
Even
from
me?
the inside,
Did you do
you
that
basically
before?
hear, run upstairs and check out the window. Make sure she is by herself.
I'm gonna.
And you hear, right you are.
Alright, so we scatter.
I'm actually just gonna cast invisibility on myself, Thelonious, and
All of us.
Tolgar.
Okay, so you just want to cast Invis. All right. Yeah, you'll easily have time to cast that before the young guard gets up the stone stairs to peer out. Okay, so you see a youngish guy, probably late teens, leans out. She's by herself! And then you hear the door unlock. He goes, "Oh, it can't be too careful, miss. Oh, yes, can't have a young lass like you just standing outside on a cold night. Heard some strange noises as well. We heard howling. Don't get wolves around these parts very often. You best come in. As I said, we don't have much, but we've got some dried mutton on the table and some there's some bread, and well, we've got a small fire. At least it'll keep you keep you warm."
Bread, please. I'm gonna walk in
All right, okay.
and sate my fake hangover.
All right. Yeah. So
we all walk in at this point then, invisibly.
Can we? Is there enough time?
technically no, but
I
once
don't
he
know.
goes to
I'd
close
be-
the door, it won't close with people in the way. It's up to you. It depends what your game plan is.
We're gonna walk in, even though it kind of like makes the door look weird. Go doo.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, Kyla walks in, and the guard goes to shut the door behind him, and one of you guys, it basically, poof, it's going to hit.
That's
you-
fine.
You see him kind of look, and he checks the bottom of the door, and you see him reach down and like brush aside to make sure there's no rocks or anything that's got in the way.
Yeah, we use that time to get in as well.
And then he slams the door closed. And just on the inside, there's just a drop bar that just kind of like goes down into like an iron slot for the locking mechanism. And he goes, "Right, well, just us two here. We basically stay here for 2 days and then we get relieved. We'll be heading back in the morning to Bamforth. But by all means, help yourself to some of the bread and mutton."
Thank you.
Let's. With that, you see him
An
kind of go over and he
invisible piece of bread.
picks up a crate and like dusts it off and brings it and puts it upside down near the table for you to sit on. And about this time, you see him like, "What the? Did you see that?
See it happening again.
What's happening again? That bread's floating and it's eating itself."
I swear I'm being followed by this thing, whatever it is.
"Oh, I don't like this at all. I don't know that we can have you staying here, miss. I've never seen the lights. No, I think you best leave."
I'm gonna go block the door and just stand there.
Okay.
And I'm going to go like, they're like, okay, I'll leave, and I'm going to just go to walk out the door and probably bump into Tolgar.
Yeah, you
Whoa.
kind of... And you
Hey,
realize immediately that there's something very kind of not well clothed and very muscly and lean and sinewy in front of you.
Ooh.
And I'm just gonna like, well, the ghost is well built. But, if you wouldn't mind, and I'm just like,
from the guard who still is like stopped halfway down the stairs, the young guard, he's like, I don't like the look of this. I don't like spooks. And with that, you see him like he kind of draws his short sword and stands there holding it in front of him, like as if he's waving it in case there's a spook or something coming near him. Out you go then, miss.
I would like to.
You can feel free to take some of the bread and some of the mutton, but you have to ask you to leave. And take your spook with you.
I'll try. And then I'm going to go ahead and take all of the food.
They don't even stop at this point. They don't even care.
And then I'm just gonna go up to the door, kind of like go around Tolgar, just kind of open it, just be like unlock it and open it, just like, just let me out, it'll be fun.
Okay.
Alright, okay, so you open the door, Tolgar gets out of the way and lets you open the door.
And then I close the door behind me, and I go sit by the horse and start eating.
Okay. Well, those of you inside, you hear,
well, I told you I heard strange noises. Weird things are afoot these last few days, that's for sure. I don't know what it was that was accompanying that young lass, but I think she's haunted.
I don't like ghosts. When I joined the militia, they never said anything about spooks, and I mean, it's bad enough that there's that winged lion that keeps hanging about, but I don't. At least you know what that is, and well, it seems to keep its end of the bargain, at least.
I don't like ghosts either.
Did you hear that? Who said that? Who? And the other guard now is like gone and grabs his crossbow from leaning up against the side of the fireplace and is like, you see him like pulling the...
So I'm still invisible, kind of behind some kind of cover. I mean, what cover there is, right?
You can basically either... really, if you imagine, you walk into this circular tower, right? There's a little indentation where they have a small fire. To the left of the door, there's a spiral stair that kind of goes up towards the roof. And halfway up, there's like a small slit window for them to look out of at the guard point. And then there's one at the top. And that's really it. They've got a wooden table in there with 2 wooden chairs. Right. Okay. And there's an upturned crate that they put next to the table for, in theory, Kyla to sit on.
So I'm just going to say, now, lower your weapons, please.
Go away, spooks! She's gone. She's outside. That's who you're haunting, isn't it? Go find her.
No, now we're going to haunt you, I'll say.
There's several of them.
Yes, there's many of us ghastly spooks that you cannot and never will see.
Now.
You should leave this tower immediately before we haunt you for the rest of your day.
I do think that it's appropriate that we notify Bamforth of the haunting.
But leave your keys.
Let's make our way to Bamforth. There. Come on, lad.
If you tell anyone that we are here in this tower, we will haunt you forever.
Okay, well, you see them they go to the door, open up the door, and they both usher their way out. They leave the door still, flung open. And Kyla, you see him come out looking a little bit sheepish. And they go, excuse us, miss, we just need to claim our horse. We've got to leave.
They were supposed to... Nah, I'm gonna just pull out my bow and shoot him.
Alright, okay. Are you shooting the old guard or the young guy?
Probably... I mean, are they next to each other?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Then I can do both.
Okay. Then let me rephrase that. Who do you want to plug first?
Probably the old guy, because the young guy's just spooked.
Okay, alright. Oh, at this point, they're both pretty spooked.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go ahead and shoot him.
Okay. All right. Shoot the old dude first, then. I say old. He's probably.
Is he surprised?
He's probably mid to late 50s. I would say the first shot definitely will be a surprise. Yes.
Jesus.
That'll do it.
Yes.
Yay!
Well, there you go.
Natural 20!
Nice. Congrats, Satch, for your second.
All right. Okay. So yeah, you plug the guard for 13 points of damage.
Well, I mean, there's also the
And then
an
11, so that's 24 points of damage. All right, okay. The arrow digs deep into his shoulder as he screams in pain, dropping the crossbow and clutching the arrow. And he's ah! As you see blood pouring down. His legs are quivering. He's alive, but that was quite a solid blow.
Oh, dang it, I hate when I have to take another shot.
Bitch.
Right, yeah, everybody you ghosts inside the tower hear a muffled cry from outside.
Yeah, no, I'm going to. So
What's up,
I
Mike?
guess I have.
Mike the Exiled Nomad, I see your name in chat. Thank you so much for all of the goodies that you sent us.
Yeah, thanks, Mikey, man.
I'm going to get all of that stuff
Can't
out
wait to
hopefully
see
this
it.
week to everybody else. So very much appreciate it.
It's so cool.
That was an awesome surprise. I stepped out of my back door and almost tripped over it. And then I was like, what is this?
I don't know what he sent, so I'm not thanking him yet. Depends, because it could be really bad stuff. I don't know. It could be rotten apples for all I know.
It's just hate mail, like a lot of it.
That's what I'm saying. Who
You
knows?
open it, it's nothing but
Contacted
you open
everyone
it,
in
it's nothing
chat,
but
and it's just
peanut
like,
and
hey,
a
do
note
you
that
hate
says
slugs?
Yeah. Maybe it's just a doodle of me with like my head cut off or something. I don't know. I'm not thanking anybody till I see
Like
it.
you're gonna have some cans of peanuts in there, and they're all gonna be
Yes.
snakes.
Oh man.
Well, actually, that'd be better than actual peanuts because I'm allergic. So.
So anyway, I'm going to shoot him again, and then I get the horde breaker thing if they're within 5 feet of each other. Which
they are. Yep.
Yeah, so I get an attack on the old man again.
That's still a hit. And that is just enough to drop him to his knees and onto the floor.
And then I'm gonna shoot the kid.
Why not, Kyla? Why not? Alright, okay, 14. No, that's still a hit. Alright, you shoot the young
kid.
guard. That does not kill him. Alright, in basically seeing his much older and more experienced guard companion shot to death, he is going to not attempt to defend himself at all. He just grabs hold of the reins and pulls himself up onto the horse, and is going to basically try to gallop away.
I was sitting next to the horse.
You are sitting next to the horse. It's an entire horse, though. Kind of hard for you to block the entire horse.
Right.
Okay, so he does that. Basically, climbs up on the horse and starts to ride away. He's not going to get that far, distance-wise. So I mean, he'll only be about 30 feet away from you by the time you're ready to shoot again, if that's what you want.
I'd very much like to shoot again.
Okay.
And the guys inside, I mean, they're all still invisible, right?
Who knows what they're doing in there,
I just
pretending
wanted
to
to
be
make
ghosts.
sure. I just want to make sure that they're,
I'm waiting for
hoping
them to pull out little bags and
Visible.
scream trick or treat or something.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna shoot at him a couple of times here, because yeah.
Alright, yeah, you plug him in the back for 8.
Kind of have to, because they're not helping me.
And again for 11. Okay. The first is a glancing blow from the first arrow. The second one, you see him go as it hits him in the back, and he slides off the horse, slumps to the ground. The horse keeps going probably for another 100 or so feet, and then it eventually just canters out and stops and begins to eat grass.
I dispel my invisibility, go to the door, and look out and give Kyla this, like, what are you doing? Look.
They were going to take the horse.
Yeah, it's
What?
You basically can see that Kyla has murdered the guards.
I mean, no joke, Kyla. I'm just as surprised as you that
Paul.
they were even let out of the guard tower. I thought Tolgar would have his way with them.
Me too. Now we have to go hide the other body, which is all the way over there, and then go... You're not tied up. Go get the horse. I'm done running for you. I'm just gonna go inside and sit down.
Tolgar, there's some corpses to arrange. Yes. And I'm gonna leave and retrieve the horse.
Okay,
basically.
So Emmeline goes over, gets the horse, and brings it back. Okay, Tolgar, do you want to deal with the bodies?
I will be.
Alright. What do you want to do with them?
Oh, are there trees and stuff around?
There are not. This is
tower.
Basically where the tower, if you remember, the tower was on a small kind of raised hill that's probably no more than about 15 to 20 feet above the ground level. It was like artificially built up for the tower to sit on as a watchtower. So that's basically it.
Oh, dang. Alright, I'm just gonna bring them back to the room.
Put them in the tower?
And I'm gonna sit them in, like, the chairs. Like they're keeping watch.
Okay, so you just...
I don't know what else to do with these.
Lump them in the chairs. Okay.
We could spike one of them up top and have them just be standing there like a lookout, you know?
Yeah, like a little shadow in the window.
I'm just gonna pull my arrows out of them.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna take the kid and we're gonna put him on top of the guard tower.
So he's like half leaning out the window?
Yeah.
Pretty much just a face in the window.
Okay.
Prop him there and you kind of like position it in a particular way.
That wouldn't be too hard because I mean the windows are about, they're like yay wide. So I mean you could like jam a shoulder and push his head through so he's like just wedged there.
It's the thing we did. As I get Dolgar's like shrug and go back downstairs. What is our game plan, guys?
You can sleep here till morning. That's when the other guards are coming, right? And leave?
Well, they're going back to relieve them.
Okay. Sleep here, leave, and go back to...
I mean, logically, if you're waiting to be relieved, you would expect the guards to come here and then leave.
So that's in the morning.
So you can expect that some point tomorrow, if they were telling the truth, at some point tomorrow, a couple of guards are going to show up here.
Well, then we shouldn't sleep here. We should get out of here.
Isn't the whole point to hole up here?
They're not going to leave in the wee hours of the night and morning to get here bright and early.
Okay.
You have at least one night here.
Well, Kyla, you need to sleep. We all do, right? So lock the door. We'll all hunker down. And we'll try to get a rest.
Okay.
And then we'll leave in the morning, like late morning.
All right.
It's fine. The young one's keeping watch.
Did anyone get the horse?
Tolgar did. Emma did.
It's tied up outside. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So you all want to rest here the night?
Yep. We lock the door and just try to sleep.
Alrighty. Okay. Everybody sleeping?
Wolf is king.
Yeah.
Wolf's going nuts.
How close does that sound?
Wait. Not sleeping yet.
It sounds closer than it did earlier.
Oh.
I don't want to sleep yet.
I don't want to go to sleep.
So you're keeping watch?
No.
I didn't
say
want to go to sleep yet.
Yes, I wanna identify some goodies.
Okay. How many identifies do you have?
Well, my first question is, am I able to identify things from Arcana checks or any skills? I don't know if that's a thing.
You can cast Detect Magic to tell that something is magical. You can use Knowledge Arcana if it's a particularly well-known magical item of legend that you might recognize, possibly. But realistically, Identify Spell is what you use to actually determine what a magical item is and how or how it works and what it does.
Okay. And there were 3 things to identify?
There were.
Okay. I have plenty of spell slots for those.
Okay.
So I'm going to cast Identify on all 3 of them.
All right. Okay. So let's start with the ring then. The one that smells.
Okay.
Basically, it is a ring of teleportation. It's basically this particular ring. You can use it once per week, and it will. Well, I say teleportation. It's not really teleportation. It would be. Hang on. What spell is it? I'll tell you. Let me give you the proper spell name, because teleportation is not actually true.
Like Misty Step or
It's hang on.
Dimension Door.
Can't be reached. What? Hold on. There we go. Let's go here. Oh. Find it.
It's the one ring to measure them all.
No, it's not Misty Step. Where is it?
Is it VoIP? VoIP should be a spelling.
No, it's Wind Wall.
A ring of wind wall. Oh, good.
No, hold on. The link that I had it on is not working for some reason all of a sudden. Thanks, link. Here we go. I can go here instead. This will have it. There we go. All right.
The ring of Poopy Step.
Poopy Step. Ain't no such thing as Poopy Step. Okay, hold on. Right.
Is it Dimension Door?
Might be. No.
D-Door ring.
Where is it? Where are you hiding? I apologize. I had this all up on a web-based thingy, which apparently is down, so I'm... See, I should have used pen and paper. It's more trustable. Come on, where are you? I'm going to go through this entire thing and not find it.
Control F.
Okay, no, yes, it is Dimension Door.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, Matt, once a week you can use that. Oh, what's up, buddy? It allows you to teleport yourself from your current location to any other spot within range. You arrive at exactly the spot desired. It can be placed. It can be a place you can see, one you can visualize, or one you can describe by stating the direction that you want to go. Such as 200 feet that way, or 300 feet that way, or whatever. You can bring along objects as long as their weight does not exceed what you carry. You can also bring one willing creature of your size or smaller who is carrying gear up to its carrying capacity. The creature must be within 5 feet of you when you cast the spell. If you would arrive in a place already occupied by an object or creature, you and the object take 4d6 points of damage.
Okay, and what was the range? I'm sorry on that. What I can see, essentially.
No, basically, it's to any spot, basically any spot within range. So, starting distance and direction, such as 200 feet straight downwards or upwards.
So it's 200 feet.
Northwest at 45 degrees, 300, basically... it's... No, because it's not just 200 feet. Hang on. The range of the spell is up to 500 feet total. 500 feet total distance. So now you can basically... Now you pretty much know how Falcio managed to escape prison.
Okay.
He swallowed his ring, waited for it to come out, and then used it to escape.
Okay.
Sneaky.
So, yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay, the goggles. Okay, they are called goggles of blind seeing. Basically, if you are blinded for any, actually blind by any means, be it magical, permanent, whatever, and you wear the goggles, you can see as if you were not blinded.
Aw, poor guy was blind.
So,
Man,
And we killed him.
He deserved it.
that's what he gets for being blind. Says Tolgar.
Yes.
I gotta quit.
Okay, that's what that does. All right, the necklace. So basically, it's like a gold necklace that's got. There are 9 beads attached to it. It looks like at one point there were 12. Basically, if you remove a bead and hurl it, the bead becomes a magic missile. So basically, it is 9 charges of magic missile, is what it is. The magic missile will be as if it was utilized as a level 10 caster. We can't hear you, Shagget. So basically, when you hurl a bead, you basically cast magic missile as if it was level 10.
As if
Can
the
you throw all
magic
the
missile
beads
was level 10?
As if you cast magic missile as a level 10 person, yes.
So what if I just took off the necklace and threw it?
It would do nothing, because the beads have to be removed from the necklace
okay.
to be utilizable.
Okay, I just...
But
Now,
what would happen if you took out
man.
9 beads?
there's
and left
nothing
like
that says you couldn't pull all the beads off into your hand and hurl them all.
like a magic missile shotgun.
Yeah, you could do
Okay.
that. Of course, once the beads are burned, they're gone, so...
Firecrackers.
Now, when you say
That's what I
cast it
use it
at
for.
level 10, is it like with the number of missiles as a...
As if you... Right, so like right now, okay, if you were a level 10... What level are you, Thelonious?
9, I believe?
Right. So what's the highest spell level that you can
Okay,
cast
so-
magic missile?
Yeah.
Okay, so the magic missiles aren't level 10. It's as if I was casting them at level
Yes. Yes.
Still, I mean, that's really good.
10. Okay, so I think 5th level I can cast right now?
Yeah. So basically, I think it is. I think
level.
level 10 is the same as you. So it'd be a fifth level magic missile. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So
But
you
one
would
ball.
basically hurl. Each one hurls like 2 plus. How many is that per ball?
So for first level spell, it's 3 darts, and then an additional dart for each one above it. So second, third, fourth, fifth. So it's 7d4
Yeah.
plus 7.
Not bad.
And then
74
if you
plus
throw
7
them all
per
at once-
hurled bead.
Well, yeah, for the whole per whole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, basically, pulling a bead off takes an action. So if you wanted to hurl them all, you'd basically have to be like pluck, 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 pluck over a number of rounds, and then,
That's fine.
So, but just so you know, if you do decide to do that, that's how that would work.
But if we're waiting for someone, say,
Oh,
to
absolutely.
kill us
You
all,
could pre-do it.
Yeah.
But once you've pulled the beads off, you're holding them in your hand until they're used, or
Oh,
when you let them go, by any means, they're done. So if you pull them off the necklace, it's like a hand grenade. You've got a hand that you're going to have to use this at some point.
Okay.
That can deal a lot of damage, though.
Don't forget and go like this. Oh my god.
Gonna come in handy for those
Blow your
guards.
brains out with it, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been a waste.
What if they pull off the beads and eat them? They'll take 7d4 plus 7 internal combustion damage. So yeah, that's basically what the 3 items do.
That's wait, is that so? That's 63d4 plus 63 total.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just for giggles and grins.
Yes, roll it out. Roll it out.
So it would look something like this.
Hand grenade.
For 233
Oh my
points of
God.
damage.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Olgar would be dead.
Love that.
Yeah, it's a hell of a one-shot wonder if you
Hey,
did do that.
We could kill Midgard with that.
Yeah,
why
and
I
then
do
you
that.
watch you do that and someone goes, counter spell.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Someone's just like, I cast shield. As a reaction, I cast shield.
Yeah, shield. A first level shield spell could nullify that.
That'd be awful.
The beauty of it is, though, it is magic missile, which means you do not have to roll to hit.
That's
Yeah.
just instant death
So
to
that's,
whoever you
that's,
want. That's amazing.
That's an incredible amount of damage. You can't do less than 63 plus 63, 126 damage. If you burn the entire thing in one foul swoop. So there you go. That's your option. But wouldn't it just counterspell the first spell? Well, the thing is, if he throws them all, it's like he's casting... it's like he's letting them all go. Who knows? That's one of those things that he would have to do it to find out. That's not a thing he'd get to know up front. Anyway, that's what you've got to play with. Okay, so you guys want to take a long rest tonight in the tower?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is anybody keeping watch?
I'm gonna be on the second story. I don't know if I'm keeping watch.
Well, there's not actually a second story. It's,
it's
just
just like
the stairwell goes up in a spire, and you can kind of go up the stairs and look out the window.
Okay.
There's a small platform at the very top that they've got a chair on, so you could sit at the chair so you can peer out the top window.
I'd probably just sleep on the platform up there.
Right. And how it is the middle window is on the left side of the tower, and the taller window is on... No, sorry, the middle window is on the left side of the tower, and the tallest window is on the right side.
Yep, we rest.
Yeah.
All right?
Yep.
Okay, well, everybody will successfully get a long rest.
Woo.
Nothing bad happens to you in the night. The wolf sounds don't get any closer. Surprisingly enough, nothing kicks in the door to your little tower late at night. And the early morning comes along, and you are able to wake up feeling considerably more rested, and you guys know how to heal, so heal that amount for your long rest, naturally. And everybody, of course, has got spells back that should have spells back.
20% plus con, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that pretty much brings us to the end of our show for this evening. Wraps it up neat and tidy. So there we go. Hi there, I'm Gorbad. Welcome to the Orc's Nest. I'm the Dungeon Master here on How We Roll, and if you'd like to follow me personally, you can do so on Twitter @Gorbad. Check out thedmblog.com for all things Dungeon Master and Dungeons & Dragons related. And of course, you can follow me on twitch.tv/Gorbad. Also, guys, don't forget to keep up with all things How We Roll. Follow us on Twitter @HowWeRoll. Check out the website www.howweroll.com, and make sure you follow us on YouTube as well. Cheers, guys.
Hi, I'm the Satchmo. I speak for the trees. Thank you for watching How We Roll. If you want to see some more of me, you can follow me on Twitch and Twitter @Satchmo. If not, I guess I'll just see you next episode. I love you. Take care.
What's up, you guys? It's the Snuggler here, and I am back for my second How We Roll campaign. I've been given some guidelines. One is to not name the character that I'm playing. Score's probably going to kill my character at some point. And two is to keep this as short as possible.
Jane is just so lazy.
So with that being said, so happy to be on my second campaign for How We Roll. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so at MattySweetTweet. That's pretty much all I use. So check you there. If not, I'm always here playing for you guys.
Shagget here. I play a character on How We Roll. I'm not going to tell you who I play because if they die, I'm going to have to redo it. I've already done it once, never again. Follow me on Twitter at aneb_convos, and I'll see you guys on How We Roll.
Hi, Jane here. You may have seen me in such films as Rise of the Fallen or Lyra vs. Legend. Thanks for watching! You can follow me on Twitter at Jane on Twitch.
That's with a 0, not no.
Anyway, I gotta go. The cats. Peace, suckers!